Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Gyananjana Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kada Mahyam Dadati Svapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yutapata Kamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrijatam Saganaragunatanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijanasahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Sri Visakan Vitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dina Bandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrisabhanusute Devi Pranamami Haripriye Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya eva cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Namam Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashatya Deshatarine Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Narayanam Namaskritya, Naram Chaiva Narottamam, Devim Saraswatim Vyasam, Tato Jayamudirayed. Shrinvatam Svakata Krishna Punyashravana Kirtana Rityandasto Yabhadrani Vidunuti Suhritsatam Nashtaprayesva Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Bhaktir Bhavati Naistiki. Before reciting the Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, which is the very means of conquest, one should offer respectful obeisances unto the personality of Godhead Narayana, unto Nara Narayana Rishi, the supermost human being, unto Mother Saraswati, the goddess of learning, and unto Shri Vyasadeva, the author. Sri Krishna, the personality of Godhead, who is the Paramatma, super soul in everyone's heart, and the benefactor of the truthful devotee, cleanses desire for material enjoyment from the heart of the devotee who has developed the urge to hear his messages, which are in themselves virtuous when properly heard and chanted. By regular attendance in classes on the Bhagavatam and by rendering of service to the pure devotee, all that is troublesome to the heart is almost completely destroyed, and loving service unto the personality of Godhead who is praised with transcendental songs is established as an irrevocable fact. Ananda Gaudiya Vaishnavanda ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam ki jai. Okay, chapter 11. Swayambhuva Manu advises Dhruva Maharaj to stop fighting. Text number 1. Maitreya Uvacha Nishamya Gadatam Evam Rishinam Danushi Dhruva Sandadestramupasprishya Yannarayana Nirmitam. Maitreya Uvacha, the sage Maitreya continued to speak. Nishamya, having heard, Garatam, the words, Evam, thus, Rishinam, of the sages, Tanushi, upon his bow, Dhruva, Dhruva Maharaj, Sandade, fixed, Astram, an arrow, Upasprishya, after touching water. Yat, that which. Narayana, Narayana, by Narayana. Nirmitam was made. Translation. Sri Maitreya said, My dear Vidura, when Dhruva Maharaj heard the encouraging words of the great sages, he performed the achamana by touching water and then took up his arrow, which was made by Lord Narayana, and fixed it upon his bow. Purport. Dhruva Maharaj was given a specific arrow made by Lord Narayana himself, and he now fixed it upon his bow to finish the illusory atmosphere created by the Yakshas. As it is stated in Bhagavad Gita, Mam eva ye prapadyante mayam etam tarantite 7:14. Without Narayana, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, no one is able to overcome the action of the illusory energy. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has also given us a nice weapon for this age, as stated in the Bhagavatam. Sangopangastra. In this age, the Narayanastra, or weapon to drive away Maya, is chanting of the Hare Krishna mantra in portions to the associates of Lord Chaitanya, such as Advaita Prabhu, Nityananda, Kadadara, and Srivasa. Text number 2. Sandhiyaman सन्धीयमान एतस्मिन् माया गुह्यकनिर्मिता क्षिप्रं विनेशुर्विदुरा क्लेशज्ञानोदये यथा Sandhiyamane, while joining to his bow. Etasmin, this Narayanastra, Maya, the illusions, Guhyaka, Nirmita, created by the Yakshas, Kshipram, very soon, Vineshu, were destroyed, Vidura, O Vidura, Klesha, illusory, pains and pleasures, Jnana Udaye, upon the rising of knowledge, Yatha, just as, translation. As soon as Dhruva Maharaj joined the Narayanastra arrow to his bow, the illusion created by the Akshas was immediately vanquished, just as all material pains and pleasures are vanquished when one becomes fully cognizant of the self. Purport. Krishna is like the sun, and Maya, or the illusory energy of Krishna, is like darkness. Darkness means absence of light. Similarly, Maya means absence of Krishna consciousness. Krishna consciousness and Maya are always there side by side. As soon as there is awakening of Krishna consciousness, all the illusory pains and pleasures of material existence are vanquished. Mayam etam tarantite. Constant chanting of the Maha Mantra will keep us always aloof from the illusory energy of Maya. Text number 3. तस्यार्षत्रं दानुषि प्रायुञ्जतः सुवर्णपुङ्खा कलहंसवाशसा विनिश्रता विविशुर्द्विषद्बलं यथा वनं भीमरवासिकन्दिना तस्या वद्रुवा Arsha Astram, the weapon given by Narayana Rishi. Tanushi, on his bow. Prayunjata, fixed. Suvarna Punka, arrows with golden shafts. Kalahamsa Vasasa, with feathers like the wings of a swan. Vinishrata sprang out. Avivishu entered. Tvishad Balam, the soldiers of the enemy. Yatha, just as. Vanam, into a forest. Bimarava, making a tumultuous sound. Sikandina, peacocks. Translation. Even as Dhruva Maharaj fixed the weapon made by Narayana Rishi onto his bow, arrows with golden shafts and feathers like the wings of a swan flew out from it. They entered the enemy's soldiers with a great hissing sound, just as peacocks enter a forest with tumultuous crowing. Text number 4. तैस्तिग्मदाराय प्रदने शीलिमुखैर् itastata punyajana upadruta tamapyadavan kupita kupita udayuda suparnamunnad unnadapanna ivahaya. Tai, by those, Tikmadarai, which had a sharp point, Pradane, on the battlefield, Shilimukai, arrows, Itastata, here and there, Punyajana, the Yakshas, Upadruta, being greatly agitated, Tam, toward Dhruva Maharaj, Abhyadavan, rushed, Kupita, being angry, Udayuda, with upraised weapons, Supannam, toward Garuda, Unnadapana, with upraised hoods, Iva like Ahaya, serpents. Translation. Those sharp arrows dismayed the enemy soldiers, who became almost unconscious, but various yakshas on the battlefield, in a rage against Dhruva Maharaj, somehow or other collected their weapons and attacked. Just as serpents, agitated by Garuda, rushed toward him with upraised hoods. So while the Yaksha soldiers prepared to overcome Dhruva Maharaj with their upraised weapons. Text number 5. Satan Prashaktar Abhidavato Mride Nikrita Bahuru Shirodarodaran Ninaya Lokam Paramarka Mandalam Vrajanti Nirbidyayam Urdvaretasa Sahahi Dhruva Maharaj Tan all the Yakshas Prashaktai by his arrows Abhid Abhidavata coming forward, Ride in the battlefield, Nikrita being separated, Bahu arms, Uru thighs, Shiradara necks, Udaran and bellies, Ninaya delivered, Lokam to the planet, Param supreme, Arkamandalam the sun globe, Prajanti go, Nirbitya, piercing, yam, to which, udvaretaja, those who do not discharge semina at any time. Translation. When Dhruva Maharaj saw the Yakshas coming forward, he immediately took his arrows and cut the enemies to pieces. Separating their arms, legs, heads, and bellies from their bodies, he delivered the Yakshas to the planetary systems, which is situated above the sun globe and which is attainable only by first-class brahmacharis who have never discharged their semina. Purport. To be killed by the Lord or by his devotees is auspicious for non-devotees. The Yakshas were killed indiscriminately by Dhruva Maharaj, but they attained the planetary system, which was only attainable for brahmacharis who had never discharged their semina, as the impersonalist jnanis or the demons who are killed by the Lord attain Brahmaloka or Satyaloka, so persons who are killed by a devotee of the Lord also attain Satyaloka. To reach the Satyaloka planetary system, To reach the Satyaloka planetary system described here, one has to be elevated above the sun globe. Killing therefore is not always bad. If the killing is done by the Supreme Person of Godhead or his devotee, or in great sacrifices, it is for the benefit of the entity killed in that way. Material so-called non-violence is very insignificant in comparison to killing done by the Supreme Person of Godhead or his devotees. Even when a king or the state government kills a person who is a murderer, that killing is for the benefit of the murderer. Thus, he may become cleared of all sinful reactions. An important word in this verse is urdhvaretasa, which means brahmacharis who have never discharged semina. Celibacy is so important that even though one does not undergo any austerities, penances, or ritualistic ceremonies prescribed in the Vedas, if one simply keeps himself a pure brahmachari, not discharging his semina, the result is that after death he goes to the Satyaloka. Generally, sex life is the cause of all miseries in the material world. In the Vedic civilization, sex life is restricted in various ways. Out of the whole population of the social structure, only the grihastas are allowed restricted sex life. All, other, all others refrain from sex. The people of this age, especially, do not know the value of not discharging semina. As such, they are variously entangled with material qualities and suffer an existence of struggle only. The word urdhvaretasha especially indicates the Mayavadi sannyasis who undergo strict principles of austerity. But in the Bhagavad Gita, the Lord says that even if one goes up to Brahmaloka, he again comes back. Abrahma Bhuvana Loka Punar Avartinorjuna. Bhagavad Gita 8:16. Therefore, actual mukti or liberation can be attained only by devotional service. Because by devotional service one can go above Brahmaloka or to the spiritual world, wherefrom he never comes back. Mayavadi sannyasis are very proud of becoming liberated, but actual liberation is not possible unless one is in touch with the Supreme Lord in devotional service. It is said, Harim Vinana Sritim Taranti. Without Krishna's mercy, no one can have liberation. Hare Krishna, Praveen Prabhu and Sridhar Krishna Prabhu and Siddharth Prabhu Tandar Pranam Jai Shri
Hare
Prabhupada.
Krishna Prabhu, Standard Pranam Jai Shri Prabhupada.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, Dhanavad Pranam, Jai Shri Prabhupada.
Hare Krishna, Dhanavad Pranam, Jai Shri Prabhupada.
Thank you for joining, Prabhu. Okay, who will
Thank
continue?
you.
I can continue, Prabhu.
Yes, thank you, Prabhu.
Text 6. Which Canto, Prabhu? Canto 4, Chapter 11, Text 6.
Good. Yes.
तान् हान्यमानान् अभिवीक्ष्य गुह्यकान् अनागशश्चित्ररथेन भूरिश औत्तानपादीं कृपया पितामहो मनुर्जगादोपत भगतः सहर्षिभिः. Tan, those yakshas, Hanyamanan, being killed, Abhivikshya, seeing, Guhya Khan, the yakshas, Anagashaha, offenseless, Chitrarathena, by Dhruva Maharaj, who had a beautiful chariot, Bhurishaha, greatly, Uttanapadin, unto the son of Uttanapada, Kripaya, out of mercy, Pitamaha, the grandfather, Manuhu, Swayambhuva Manu, Jagada, gave instructions, Upagataha, approached, Saharishibihi, with great sages. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Translation. When Swayambhuva Manu saw that his grandson Dhruva Maharaj was killing so many of the yakshas who were not actually offenders, out of his great compassion, he approached Dhruva with great sages to give him good instruction. Purport. Dhruva Maharaj attacked Alakapuri, the city of the yakshas, because his brother was killed by one of them. Actually, one of the citizens, not all of them, was guilty of killing his brother, Uttama. Dhruva Maharaj, of course, took a very serious step when his brother was killed by the Yakshas. War was declared and the fighting was going on. This sometimes happens in present days also. For one man's fault, a whole state is sometimes attacked. This kind of wholesale attack is not approved by Manu, the father and lawgiver of the human race. He therefore wanted to stop his grandson Dhruva from continuing to kill the Yaksha citizens who were not offenders. Text 7. Manu Uvacha Alam Vatsathirosena Tamodvarena Papmana Yena Punya Janan Yetan Avadistvam Anagashaha. Manu Uvacha, Manu said, Alam, enough, Vatsa, my dear boy, Atirosena, with excessive anger. Tama Dvarena, the path of ignorance. Pap mana, sinful, yena, by which, punya janan, the yakshas, etan, all these, avadihi, you have killed, from you, anagashaha, offenseless. Translation. Lord Manu said, my dear son, please stop. It is not good to become unnecessarily angry. It is the path to hellish life. Now you are going beyond the limit by killing yakshas who are actually not offenders. Purport. In this verse, the word Atiroshena means with unnecessary anger. When Dhruva Maharaj went beyond the limits of necessary anger, his grandfather Swayambhuva Manu immediately came to protect him from further sinful action. From this, we can understand that killing is not bad. But when killing is done unnecessarily or when an offenseless person is killed, such killing opens the path to hell. Dhruva Maharaj was saved from such sinful action because he was a great devotee. A Kshatriya is allowed to kill only for maintenance of the law and order of the state. He is not allowed to kill or commit violence without reason. Violence is certainly a path leading to a hellish condition of life, but it is also required for maintenance of the law and order of the state. Here, Lord Manu prohibited Dhruva Maharaj from killing the yakshas because only one of them was punishable for killing his brother, Uttama. All of the yakshas citizens were not punishable. We find in modern warfare, however, that attacks are made upon innocent citizens who are without fault. According to the law of Manu, such warfare is the most sinful activity. Furthermore, at the present moment, civilized nations are unnecessarily maintaining many slaughterhouses for killing innocent animals. When a nation is attacked by its enemies, the wholesale slaughter of the citizens should be taken as a reaction to their own sinful activities, that is nature's law. Text 8. Nasmat pulochitam tat karmaitat sadvigarhitam vadoyat upadevanam arabdaste kritai nasam. No, not Asmat Kula, our family, Uchitam, befitting, Tata, my dear son, Karma, action, Etat, this, Sat, by authorities of religion, Bigger Hitam, forbidden, Vadaha, the killing, Yet, which, Upadevanam, of the Yakshas, Arabdaha, was undertaken, Te, by you, Akrita Enasam, of those who are sinless. My dear son, the killing of the sinless Yakshas which you have undertaken is not at all approved by authorities, and it does not befit our family, which is supposed to know the laws of religion and irreligion. Text 9. Nanu ekasya paradena prasangad bahavo hataha bhrathur vadavitaptena vayanga bhratrvatsala nanu certainly ekasya of one yaksha aparadena with the offense, prasangat because of their association, bahavaha many, hataha have been killed, bratuhu of your brother, vada by the death, abhitaptena being aggrieved, vaya by you, anga my dear son, bhratrvatsala affectionate to your brother. Translation. My dear son, it has been proved that you are very much affectionate towards your brother and are greatly aggrieved at his being killed by the yakshas. But just consider, for one yaksha's offense, you have killed many others who are innocent. Text 9. Nayam margo hi sadhunam rishikeshanuvartinam yad atmanam pratapara grihya pasuvad bhutha vaishasam. No, never. I am this margaha path. He certainly sadhunam of honest persons, Rishikesha of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Anuvartinam. Prabhu, please scroll down. Anuvartinam, following the path, yet which Atmanam, self, Parak, the body, Grihya, thinking to be, Pashuvat, like animals, Bhuta, of living entities, Vaishasham, killing. Translation: one should not accept the body as a self and thus, like the animals, kill the bodies of others. It is especially forbidden by saintly persons who follow the path of devotional service to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Purport. The words Sadhunam, Rishikeshanu, Vartinam are very significant. Sadhu means a saintly person, but who is a saintly person? A saintly person is he who follows the path of rendering service unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Rishikesha. In the Narada Pancharatra, it is said, Rishikena Rishikesha Sevanam Bhakti Ruchyate. The process of rendering favorable service to the Supreme Personality of Godhead with one's senses is called bhakti or devotional service. Therefore, why should a person who is already engaged in the service of the Lord engage himself in personal sense gratification? Dhruva Maharaj is advised here by Lord Manu that he is a pure servitor of the Lord. Why should he unnecessarily engage, like the animals, in the bodily concept of life? An animal thinks that the body of another animal is his food. Therefore, in the bodily concept of life, one animal attacks another. Human being, especially one who is a devotee of the Lord, should not act like this. Sadhu, a saintly devotee, is not supposed to kill animals unnecessarily. Text 11. सर्वभूतात्मभावेन भूतावासं हरिं भवान् आराध्यापदुरार्यार्ध्यं दुराराध्यं विष्णोस्तत्परमं padam. Hiranam Sarva Bhuta in all living entities. Atma upon the super soul. Bhavena with meditation. Bhuta of all existence. Avasam the abode. Harim Lord Hari. Bhavan you. Aradhya by worshipping. Apa have achieved. Duraradhyam very difficult to propitiate. Vishnu of the Lord Vishnu. Tat that Paramam Supreme Param situation. Translation. It is very difficult to achieve the spiritual abode of Hari in the Vaikuntha planets. But you are so fortunate that you are already destined to go to that abode by worshipping him as a supreme abode of all living entities. Purport. The material bodies of all living entities cannot exist unless sheltered by the spirit soul and the super soul. The spirit soul is dependent on the super soul who is present even within the atom. Therefore, since anything, material or spiritual, is completely dependent on the Supreme Lord, the Supreme Lord is referred to here as Bhuta Vasa. Dhruva Maharaj, as a Kshatriya, could have argued with his grandfather Manu when Manu requested him to stop fighting. But even though Dhruva could have argued that as a Kshatriya it was his duty to fight with the enemy, still he was informed that since every living entity is a residence of the Supreme Lord and can be considered a temple of the Lord, the unnecessary killing of any living entity is not permitted. It looks like Kshatriyas can actually argue back according to their obligatory duties of fighting. Okay. Sattvam hareranudyatas tattum sam api sammatah katam tu avadyam kritavan anushikshan satamritam. Saha, that person. Tvam, you. Harehe, by the Supreme Lord. Anudyatah, being always remembered. Tat, this his. Pumsham, by the devotees. Api, also. Sammatah, esteemed. Katam, why? Tu, then. Avadyam, abominable act. Kritavan, you have undertaken. Anushikshan, setting the example. Satam, of saintly persons. Vratam, a vow. Translation. Because you are a pure devotee of the Lord is always thinking of you, and you are also recognized by all his confidential devotees. Your life is meant for exemplary behavior. I am therefore surprised. Why have you undertaken such an abominable task? Purport. Dhruva Maharaj was a pure devotee and was accustomed to always thinking of the Lord. Reciprocally, the Lord always thinks of those pure devotees who think of Him only 24 hours a day. As a pure devotee does not know anything beyond the Lord, so the Lord does not know anything beyond his pure devotee. Swayambhuva Manu pointed out this fact to Dhruva Maharaj. You are not only a pure devotee, but you are recognized by all pure devotees of the Lord. You should always act in such an exemplary way that others may learn from you. Under the circumstances, it is surprising that you have killed so many faultless yakshas. Text 13. Titikshaya karmaya maitreya chakila chantasu samatvena cha sarvatma bhagavan samprasidati. Titikshaya by tolerance, karunaya by mercy, maitreya by friendship, cha also, akila universal, jantusu unto the living entities, samatvena by equilibrium, sa also sarvatma the super soul, Bhagavan personality of Godhead. Samprasidati becomes very satisfied. Translation. The Lord is very satisfied with his devotee when the devotee greets other people with tolerance, mercy, friendship, and equality. Purport. It is the duty of an advanced devotee in the second stage of devotional service, devotional perfection, to act in accordance with this verse. There are three stages of devotional life. In the lowest stage, a devotee is simply concerned with the deity in the temple, and he worships the Lord with great devotion according to rules and regulations. In the second stage, the devotee is cognizant of his relationship with the Lord, his relationship with fellow devotees, his relationships with persons who are innocent, and his relationship with persons who are envious. Sometimes devotees are ill treated by envious persons. It is advised that an advanced devotee should be tolerant. He should show complete mercy to persons who are ignorant or innocent. A preacher devotee is meant to show mercy to innocent persons whom he can elevate to devotional service. Everyone, by constitutional position, is an eternal servant of God. Therefore, a devotee's business is to awaken everyone's Krishna consciousness. That is his mercy. As for a devotee's treatment of other devotees who are his equals, he should maintain friendship with them. His general view should be to see every living entity as part of the Supreme Lord. Different living entities appear in different forms of dress, but according to the instruction of the Bhagavad Gita, a learned person sees all living entities equally. Such treatment by the devotee is very much appreciated by the Supreme Lord. It is said, therefore, that a saintly person is always tolerant and merciful. He is a friend for everyone, never an enemy to anyone, and he is peaceful. These are some of the good qualities of a devotee. Text 14. Samprasanne Bhagavati Purusha Prakritai Gunai Vinukto Jiva Mukto Brahma Nirvanam Vichati. Synonyms. Samprasanne, upon satisfaction. Bhagavati, of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Purusha, a person. Prakritaihi, from the material. Gunaihi, modes of nature. Vimuktaha, being liberated. Jiva Nirmuktaha, freed from the subtle body also. Brahma, unlimited. Nirvanam, spiritual bliss. Richati, achieves. One who actually satisfies the Supreme Personality of Godhead during his lifetime becomes liberated from the gross and subtle material conditions. Thus, being freed from all the material modes of nature, he achieves unlimited spiritual bliss. Purport. In the previous verse, it has been explained that one should treat all living entities with tolerance, mercy, friendship, and equality. By such behavior, one satisfies the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and upon his satisfaction, the devotee immediately becomes free from all material conditions. The Lord also confirms this in the Bhagavad Gita. Anyone who sincerely and seriously engages in my service immediately becomes situated in the transcendental stage, wherein he can enjoy unlimited spiritual bliss. Everyone in this material world is struggling hard to achieve blissful life. Unfortunately, people do not know how to achieve it. Atheists do not believe in God and certainly do not praise Him. They do not please Him. Here it is clearly said that upon pleasing the Supreme Personality of Godhead, here it is clearly said that upon pleasing the Supreme Personality of Godhead, one immediately attains to the spiritual platform and enjoys unlimited blissful life. To become free from material existence means to become free from the influence of material nature. The word samprasanne, which is used in this verse, means being satisfied. A person should act in such a way that the Lord is satisfied by the activity. It is not that he himself is to be satisfied. Of course, when the Lord is satisfied, the devotee automatically becomes satisfied. This is the secret of the process of Bhakti Yoga. Outside of Bhakti Yoga, everyone is trying to satisfy himself. No one is trying to satisfy the Lord. Karmis grossly try to satisfy their senses, but even those who are elevated on the platform of knowledge also try to satisfy themselves in a subtle form. Karmis try to satisfy themselves by sense gratification, and jnanis try to satisfy themselves by subtle activities or mental speculation and thinking themselves to be God. Yogis also try to satisfy themselves by thinking that they can achieve different mystic perfections. But only devotees try to satisfy the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The devotee's process of self realization is completely different from the processes of the karmis, jnanis, and yogis. Everyone else is trying to satisfy himself, whereas the devotee tries only to satisfy the Lord. The devotional process is completely different from the others. By working to please the Lord by engaging his senses in this loving service, the devotee is immediately situated on the transcendental platform and he enjoys unlimited blissfulness. Text 50. Bhutai panchabi Bhutai panchabir anam nair yoshit purusha evahi tayor vyavadayat sambhutir yoshit purusha yoriha. Bhutaihi by the material elements, panchabihi five, anabdaihi developed, yosit women, purushaha man, eva just so, he certainly, tayoho of them, yava yat by sexual life, sambhutihi the further creation, yosit of women, purushayoho on and of men, iha in this material world. Translation: the creation of the material world begins with the five elements, and thus everything, including the body of a man or a woman, is created of the five elements. By the sexual life of a man and a woman, the number of men and women in this material world is further increased. Purport: when Swayambhuva Manu saw that Dhruva Maharaj understood the philosophy of Vaishnavism and yet was still dissatisfied because of his brother's death, he gave him an explanation of how his material body is stated by the five elements of material nature. In the Bhagavad Gita, it is also confirmed. Prakriti kriyamanani. Everything is created, maintained, and annihilated by the material modes of nature. In the background, of course, there is a direction of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. This is also confirmed in the Bhagavad Gita, Maya Dyakshena. In the ninth chapter, Krishna says, under my superintendence, material nature is acting. Swayambhuva Manu wanted to impress upon Dhruva Maharaj that the death of the material body of his brother was not actually the Yaksha's fault. It was an action of the material nature. The Supreme Personality of Godhead has immense potencies, varieties of potencies, and they act in different gross and subtle ways. It is by such powerful potencies that the universe is created, although grossly it appears to be no more than the five elements earth, water, fire, air, and ether. Similarly, the bodies of all species of living entities, whether human beings or demigods, animals or birds, are also created by the same five elements, and by sexual union, they expand into more and more living entities. That is the way of creation, maintenance, and annihilation. One should not be disturbed by the waves of material nature in this process. Dhruva Maharaj was indirectly advised not to be afflicted by the death of his brother because our relationship with this body is completely material. The real self, spirit, soul is never annihilated or killed by anyone.
Hare Krishna, dear Prabhu, please accept my humble obeisances, O Grace to Srila Prabhupada.
Hare Krishna, Gaur Shakti Prabhu, please accept my
Hare
humble
Krishna,
obeisances.
Gaur
Follow
Shakti
Srila
Prabhu.
Prabhupada.
Hare Krishna, Prabhupada, Jai Shri Prabhupada.
And Jai Shri Prabhupada.
Please forgive
Prabhu.
me to disturb you, Srila Krishna Prabhu, but
No
can I
problem.
read one verse,
Yes,
just
Prabhu,
one?
please. Yes.
Thank you, because I need to go after that because
Yes, Prabhu.
I have some preaching work to do.
Yes,
So I
Prabhu.
just
Please.
wanted to associate with you all and just read one verse, if it is possible.
Hare Krishna, Hare
Yes,
Krishna,
Prabhu.
Prabhu, Dandavat Pranam to all of you, Jai Shri Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Dhamma Prana, Jai Shila Prabhupada, Suma Prabhu.
Hare Krishna,
So,
Prabhupada,
okay,
Jai Shri Prabhupada.
thank you very much. Okay, just wait. So this is text 16, right?
Yes, Prabhu. Canto 4,
16,
chapter 11, text 16.
okay, thank you. Evam pravaltate sargam stiti samyamahe vacham guna vyakti kalad lachan mayaya palamatmanaham. Evam, thus, pravaltate occurs, sargaham, creation, stiti, maintenance, samyaham, annihilation, eva, certainly, cha, and guna, of the modes, vyati kalat, by interaction, lajan, O king, mayaya, by the illusory energy, palamatmanaham, of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada Ki Jai. Can you scroll down, please, Prabhu? Swami Prabhu, please don't cook when you are in the reading session. Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Thank you very much. Thank you. Manu continued. My dear King Dhruva, it is simply by illusory material energy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead and by the interaction of the three modes of material nature that creation, maintenance, and annihilation take place. Purport. First, creation takes place with the ingredients of the five elements of material nature. Then, by the interaction of the mode of material nature, maintenance also takes place. When a child is born, the parents immediately see to its maintenance. This tendency for maintenance of offspring is present not only in human society but in animal society as well. Even tigers care for their cub, although their propensity is to eat other animals. By the interaction of the material modes of nature, creation, maintenance, and also annihilation take place inevitably. But at the same time, we should know that all is conducted under the superintendence of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Everything is going on under that process. Creation is the action of the Rajagun, the mode of passion. Maintenance is the action of the Sattvagun, the mode of goodness. And annihilation is the just move and I lost myself. Is the action of Tamagun, the mode of ignorance. Thank you, Prabhu. We can see that those who are situated in the mode of goodness live longer than those who are situated in Tamagun or Rajagun. In other words, if one is elevated to the mode of goodness, he is elevated to the higher planetary system, where the duration of life is very great. So you see, Prabhus, when we take trouble to wake up early in the morning and to chant at Brahma Muhurta, actually we expand our duration of life. So this is quite nice advantage, right? Urdvam gachanti satvastaham great rishi, sages, and sannyasis, who maintain themselves in sattva gun, or the mode of material goodness, are elevated to the higher planetary system. Those who are transcendental even to the material modes of nature are situated in the mode of pure goodness. They attain eternal life in the spiritual world. Haribol. Thank you very much. I just wanted to read one verse. Vanchakalpatarubhyacha kripasindubhyacha
Thank you,
patitanam
Vanchakalpadurubhyo
pavanebhyo Vaishnavibhyo Shila Prabhupada ki jai. Nitai Gola Premanande Hari Hari Bol. Thank you for your precious and valuable association.
Narottam Prabhu, Jai Shri Prabhupada.
Thank you, Prabhu.
And I hope I can associate more longer with you tomorrow. Hare Krishna, Jai Shila Prabhupada.
Thank you so much.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, Jai Shri Prabhupada.
So, Siddharth Prani Prabhu, I have a question from you.
Yes, Prabhu,
Prabhu, can you hear me?
I can.
Yes, Prabhu, we can hear you.
So, Prabhu, you have posted a post in Telegram group, Sloka Learning.
Yes.
So, Prabhu, I want to know, can I share this with some of the friends who are like atheist, and by sharing will not that diminish my faith? And second question is that, Prabhu, may I understand that because I have lost so many like this by the words, so many things I have lost like this. So I am often falling down. Is this because of this phenomena, Prabhu?
So the first question you asked us if you could share the message I shared, right?
Yes.
Please, Prabhu, go ahead. That's the point of this. We have to propagate this preaching. And the second question, I couldn't quite get you, Prabhu. Could you repeat it if you don't mind?
So, Prabhu, my question is that actually before coming to Krishna consciousness, I have lost so much semen, Prabhu. I mean,
Okay.
I cannot count how much I have lost, Prabhu. It's
Okay.
like innumerable. I have lost all my stamina at this,
Okay.
Prabhu.
Okay.
So,
I don't think you're the only one in this, because I've been a victim myself for a very long time. So it is by the mercy of Narasimha Dev. I just took to his prayers. So by the virtue of that, I got the insight of Krishna consciousness. And you can continue, Prabhu. Sorry for cutting you off.
so Prabhu, I am often fallen down like by some cheap material things like something eatable, which is very abominable. So I am often captivated by that. So is it like because of this, Prabhu?
Your question is because of associating with others, you're getting this?
No, I mean, I have lost the seminar, so I am getting attracted to these things
Oh,
like.
yes, Prabhu. It'll happen as a consequence. The very act of losing semina is based on ignorance, tamoguna. The activity is tamas. In fact, it's abominable. So you want to refrain from the tamoguna and place yourself in sattva. So the more you come like this, it is going to be in sattva. Like I said earlier, even I had a lot of thoughts like this, lustful thoughts. But when I came into reading sessions, the thoughts were simply not there. It's really magical that way. Devotee association is really understated, to be honest. So simply even by hearing them in the japa session or even having someone read will definitely clear out a lot of like it's told cheto darpana marjanam. It actually happens. So
Yes,
I would
Prabhu,
recommend. Yes.
I can feel that, Prabhu, but
Yes.
actually I am in a condition there I have to associate so many people of Tamoguna, and then I
Yes.
can
Yes.
feel the I can feel the effect of Tamoguna also very much, Prabhu.
So the idea is to be persistent. Titikshasva Prabhu 2:14. Matra spasha kaunteya shitoshna sukha dukkha dagha agama payino nityas tan titikshasva bharata. You just have to keep bearing with it and stay persistent. Dhira, you need to be dhira. The next verse says that you have to be steady in these turbulations, because that's the only way you will be cleansed of your any karmic reactions. Besides, I mean, it's very easy to even think that your efforts may seem to have no result. But I forgot the verse. Yeah, in 240 it is told, no, in this endeavor there's no loss or diminution. So just keep persistent, Prabhu. That's all. Because what you're doing is not possible by a lot of people. I mean, look at this. I mean, in our group of around 500 people, only a handful of us are there, 7 of us. So do consider yourself having been bestowed with a lot of mercy right now. So in case you do anything, get any lustful thoughts, please connect with us. We can surely talk you out of it, or at least I can be of some service that way. At least by the mercy of Krishna, you can get to have this mystical touch.
Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you very much for your kind answer.
But Prabhu, do not feel bogged down by this. It will surely happen. Maya is very tricky. Mama Maya Duratyaya. So I can totally understand. I can empathize with you, but do not feel bogged down. Just come back here as soon as you can. Even Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu mentioned in an Ishtogoshi not very long ago, and in any
Yes, I was
battle.
here.
Yeah, the idea is if in any battle a soldier falls down, he has to not take his vacation that time to get back up. It's to instantaneously get back up and start fighting. That's the point of a war. He has to win this war. So the more we prolong and take time in getting back up is Maya winning without even you realizing it. So what you're doing right now is you're actually in a persistent phase of being resilient. So you're on the right track, if you ask me. And you can definitely take the association of the rest of the people here as well. In fact, they are more senior to me, so they'll also be able to provide you with much better insight to this. As of yet, you're doing wonderful, Prabhu. So just keep at it.
Yes,
Attend japa
Prabhu.
sessions and reading sessions.
Yes, Prabhu. I am associating with all of you. It feels very good.
Yes, Prabhu.
Thank you
You are
very much.
inspirational as well. So please continue to do this wonderful sadhana.
Yes, Prabhu. I will continue with all of.
Warrior Srila Prabhupada. Thank you, Prabhu. Sorry, Prabhu. You can continue reading Srila Krishna Prabhu.
Haribol, who's reading? Oh,
You can continue, bro. Anyone can continue. Siddharth Prabhu or Praveen Prabhu or Pranjal Prabhu also here.
Okay, Praveen Prabhu, you can, if you want, you can read.
Yes, I want to read. Canto 4, chapter 11, text 17. Nimittamatram tatrasin nirgunah purushashabha yakta vyaktam idam vishwam yatra brahmati lohavat. Synonyms. Nimittamatram, remote cause, tatra. Then, asit, was, nirgunaha, uncontaminated, purusha rishabhaha, the supreme person, vyakta, manifested, avyaktam, unmanifested, idam, this, vishwam, world, yatra, where, brahmati, moves, lohavat, like iron. Translation purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Translation: My dear Dhruva, the Supreme Personality of Godhead is uncontaminated by the material modes of nature. He is the remote cause of the creation of this material cosmic manifestation. When he gives the impetus, many other causes and effects are produced, and thus the whole universe moves, just as iron moves by the integrated force of a magnet. Purport. How the external energy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead works within this material world is explained in this verse. Everything is happening by the energy of the Supreme Lord. The atheistic philosophers who do not agree to accept the Supreme Personality of Godhead as the original cause of creation think that the material world moves by the action and reaction of different material elements. A simple example of the interaction of elements occurs when we mix a soda and acid, and the movement of effervescence is produced. But one cannot produce life by such interaction of chemicals. There are 8.4 million different species of life with different wishes and different actions. How the material force is working cannot be explained just on the basis of chemical reaction. A suitable example in this connection is that of the potter and the potter's wheel. The potter's wheel Sami Prabhu, scroll down. Or I can scroll. I think you have given me access. The potter's wheel rotates and several varieties of earthen pots come out. There are many causes for the earthen pots, but the original cause is the potter who sets a force on the wheel. That force comes by his superintendence. The same idea is explained in the Bhagavad Gita. Behind all material action and reaction, there is Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Krishna says that everything depends on his energy, and yet he is not everywhere. The pot is produced under certain conditions of action and reaction of material energy, but the potter is not in the pot. In a similar way, the material creation is set up by the Lord, but he remains aloof. As stated in the Vedas, he simply glances over, he simply glanced over it, and the agitation of matter immediately began. In the Bhagavad Gita, it is also said that the Lord impregnates the material energy with the part and parcel jivas, and thus the different forms and different activities immediately ensue. Because of the different desires and karmic activities of the jiva soul, different types of bodies in different species are produced. In the Darwin's theory, there is no acceptance of the living entity as spirit soul, and therefore his explanation of evolution is incomplete. Varieties of phenomena occur within this material within this universe on account of the action and reaction of the three material modes, but the original creator or the cause is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is mentioned here as Nimitta Matram, the remote cause. He simply pushes the wheel with his energy. According to the Mayavadi philosophers, the Supreme Brahman has transformed himself into many varieties of forms, but that is not the fact. He is always transcendental to the action and reaction of the material gunas, although he is the cause of all causes. Lord Brahma says, therefore, in the Brahma Samhita, Ishvara Parama Krishna Sachidananda Vigraha Anadiradir Govindaha Sarvakarana Karanam. There are many causes and effects, but the original cause is Sri Krishna. Text 18. Sakalvidam Bhagavan Kala Shaktya Guna Pravahena Vivakta Viryaha Karoti Akartaiva Nihanti Ahanta Cheshta Vibhumnaha Kalau Durvibhavya. Synonyms: Saha, the Kalu, however, Idam, this universe, Bhagavan, personality of Godhead, Kala of time, Shaktya, by the force, Guna, Pravahena, by the interaction of the modes of nature, Vivakta, divided, Viryaha, whose potencies, Karoti, acts upon, Akarta, the non-doer, Eva, although, Nihanti, kills, Ahanta, non-killer, Cheshta, the energy, Vibhumna of the Lord, Khalu, certainly, Durvibhavya, inconceivable. Translation: the Supreme Personality of Godhead, by his inconceivable supreme energy, time, causes the interaction of the three modes of material nature, and thus varieties of energy become manifest. It appears that he is acting, but he is not the actor. He is killing, but he is not the killer. Thus, it is understood that only by his inconceivable power is everything happening. Purport: the word Durvibhavya means inconceivable by our tiny brain, and Vibhakta Viryaha means divided in varieties of potencies. This is the right explanation of the display of creative energies in the material world. We can better understand the mercy of God by an example. A government state is always supposed to be merciful, but sometimes, in order to keep law and order, the government employs its police force, and thus punishment is meted out to the rebellious citizens. Similarly, the Supreme Personality of Godhead is always merciful and full of transcendental qualities, but certain individual souls have forgotten their relationship with Krishna and have endeavored to lord it over material nature. As a result of their endeavor, they are involved in varieties of material interaction. It is correct to argue, however, that because energy issues from the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he is therefore the actor. In the previous verse, the word Nimitta Matram indicates that the Supreme Lord is completely aloof from the action and reaction of this material world. How is everything being done? The word inconceivable has been used. It is not within the power of one's small brain to comprehend. Unless one accepts the inconceivable power and energy of the Lord, one cannot make any progress. The forces which act are certainly set up by the Supreme Personality of Godhead, but he is always aloof from their action and reaction. The varieties of energies produced by the interaction of material nature produce the varieties of species of life and their reluctant happiness and unhappiness. How the Lord acts is nicely explained in Vishnu Purana. Fire is situated in one place, while the heat and light produced by the fire act in many different ways. Another example given in that the electric powerhouse is situated in one place, but by its energies, many different types of machinery move. The production is never identical with the original source of the energy, but the original source of energy, being the prime factor, is simultaneously one and different from the product. Therefore, Lord Chaitanya's philosophy, Achintya Veda Veda Tattva, is the perfect way of understanding. In this material world, the Lord incarnates in three forms as Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiva, by which he takes charge of the three modes of material nature. By his incarnation of Brahma, he creates. As the incarnation of Vishnu, he maintains. And by his incarnation of Shiva, he also annihilates. But the original source of Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiva, Garbhodaka Sai Vishnu, is always apart from these actions and reactions of material nature. Next 19. Sonantonanta Karaha Kalo Anadir Adi Krid Avyayah Janma Janena Janayan Marayan Mrityunantakam, synonyms: Saha, he, Anantaha, infinite, Anta Karaha, annihilator, Kalaha, time, Anadihi, without beginning, Adikrit, beginning of everything, Vyavaha, Vyayaha, without decrease, Janam, living entities, Janena, by living entities, Janayan, causing to be born, Marayan, killing, Mrityuna, by death, Antakam, killers. Translation: my dear Dhruva, the Supreme Personality of Godhead is ever existing. In the form of time, he is the killer of everything. He has no beginning, although he is the beginning of everything, nor is he ever exhaustible, although everything is exhausted in due course of time. The living entities are created through the agency of the Father, and they are killed through the agency of death, but he is perpetually free of birth and death. Purport: the supreme authority and inconceivable power of the Supreme personality of Godhead can be minutely studied from this verse. He is always unlimited. That means that he has no creation or end. He is, however, death in the form of time, as described in the Bhagavad Gita. Krishna says, I am death, I take away everything at the end of life. Eternal time is also without beginning, but it is the creator of all creatures. The example is given of touchstone, which creates many valuable stones and jewels, but does not decrease in power. Similarly, creation occurs many times, everything is maintained, and after a time, everything is annihilated. But the original creator, the Supreme Lord, remains untouched and undiminished in power. The secondary creation is made by Brahma, but Brahma is created by the Supreme Godhead. Lord Shiva annihilates the whole creation, but at the end, he is also annihilated by Vishnu. Lord Vishnu remains. In the Vedic hymns, it is stated that in the beginning there is only Vishnu and that he alone remains at the end. An example can help us understand the inconceivable potency of the Supreme Lord. In the recent history of warfare, the Supreme Personality of God had created a Hitler and therefore that a Napoleon Bonaparte, and they each killed many living entities in war. But in the end, Bonaparte and Hitler were also killed. People are still very much interested in writing and reading books about Hitler and Bonaparte and how they killed so many people in war. Year after year, many books are published for public reading regarding Hitler's killing thousands of Jews in confinement. But no one is researching who killed Hitler and who created such a gigantic killer of human beings. The devotees of the Lord are not much interested in the study of the flickering history of the world. They are interested only in He who is the original creator, maintainer, and annihilator. That is the purpose of the Krishna consciousness movement. Text 20. Navaisva विपक्ष एव वा परस्य मृत्योर्विशतः समं प्रजाः तं धावमानम् अनुधावन्ति अनीशा यथा राजांसि अनिलं भूत अंगाः synonyms not why however स्वपक्षः Ali Asya of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Vipakshaha, enemy, Eva, certainly, Va, or Parasya of the Supreme, Mrityo in the form of time, Vishaktaha, entering, Samam, equally, Prajah, living entities, Tam, him, Dhavamanam, moving, Anu, Dhavanti, follow behind, Anisha, dependent living entities, Yatha, as, Rajamsi, particles of dust, Anilam, the wind, Bhota, Sangaha, other material elements. Translation: the Supreme Personality of Godhead, in his feature of eternal time, is present in the material world and is neutral towards everyone. No one is his ally and no one is his enemy. Within the jurisdiction of the time element, everyone enjoys or suffers the result of his own karma or fruitive activities. As when the wind blows, small particles of dust fly in the air, so according to one's particular karma, one suffers or enjoys material life. Purport. Although the Supreme Personality of Godhead is the original cause of all causes, he is not responsible for anyone's material suffering or enjoyment. There is no such partiality on the part of the Supreme Lord. The less intelligent accuse the Supreme Lord of being partial and claim that this is why one enjoys in this material world and another suffers. But this verse specifically says that there is no such partiality on the part of the Supreme Lord. Living entities, however, are never independent. As soon as they declare their independence of the Supreme Controller, they are immediately put into the material world to try their luck freely as far as possible. When the material world is created for such misguided living entities, they create their own karma, fruitive activities, and take advantage of the time elements, and thereby they create their own fortune or misfortune. Everyone is created, everyone is maintained, and everyone is ultimately killed. As far as these three things are concerned, the Lord is equal to everyone. It is according to his karma that a person suffers and enjoys. The living entity's higher or lower position, his suffering and enjoying are due to his own karma. The exact word used in this connection is anishaha, which means dependent on his own karma. The example is given that the government gives everyone the facility for governmental action and management, but by one's own choice, he creates a situation which obliges him to exist under different types of consciousness. The example given in this verse is that when the wind blows, particles of dust float in the air. Gradually, lightning occurs and then torrents of rain follow. And thus, the rainy season creates a situation of varieties in the forest. God is very kind. He gives everyone an equal chance, but by the reluctant actions of one's own karma, he suffers or enjoys this material world. Text 21. आयुषोपचयं जन्तोस् तथैवोपचयं विभुः उभाभ्यां रहितः स्वस्थो दुस्तस्य विदध्याति असौ. Synonyms: Aishaha, the duration of life. Apachayam, diminution. Janto, of the living entities. Tatha, similarly. Eva, also. Upachayam, increase. Vibhuhu, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Ubhabhyam, from both of them. Rahitaha, free. Swastaha, always situated in his transcendental position. Dustasya, of the living entities under the laws of karma. Vidadhati, awards. Asau, he. Translation: the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Vishnu, is all powerful and he awards the results of one's fruitive activities. Thus, although one living entity's duration of life is very small, whereas that of another is very great, he is always in his transcendental position and there is no question of lessening or increasing his duration of life. Purport: both the mosquito and Lord Brahma are living entities in the material world. Both are minute sparks and are part of the Supreme Lord. The very short duration of life of the mosquito and the very long lifetime of Lord Brahma are both awarded by the Supreme Personality of Godhead according to the results of their karma. But in the Brahma Samhita, we find it said, Karmani nirdahati. The Lord diminishes or vanquishes the reactions of devotees. The same fact is explained in the Bhagavad Gita, Yajnartat karmano nyatra. One should perform karma only for the purpose of satisfying the Supreme Lord. Otherwise, one is bound by the action and reaction of karma. Under the laws of karma, a living entity wanders within the universe under the rule of eternal time, and sometimes he becomes a mosquito and sometimes Lord Brahma. To a sane man, this business is not very fruitful. Bhagavad Gita 9:25 gives a warning to the living entities, Yanti Deva Vrata Devan. Those who are addicted to the worship of the demigods go to the planets of the demigods, and those who are addicted to worship of the Pitas, forefathers, go to the Pitas. Those who are inclined to material activities remain in the material sphere. But persons who engage in devotional service reach the abode of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, where there is neither birth nor death nor different varieties of life under the influence of the law of karma. The best interest of the living entity is to engage himself in devotional service and go back home, back to Godhead. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur advised, my friend, you are being washed away in material nature's waves of time. Please try to understand that you are the eternal servant of the Lord. Then everything will stop and you will be eternally happy. Text 22. Kechit karma vadanti ye nam swabhavam apare nripa eke kalam pare daivam pumsaha kamam utapare. Synonyms: Kechit, some karma, fruitive activities, Vadanti, explain, enam, that, swabhavam, nature, apare, others, nripa, my dear king, Dhruva, eke, some, kalam, time, pare, others, daivam, fate, pumsaha, of the living entity, kamam, desire, uta, also, apare, others. Translation. The differentiation among varieties of life and their suffering and enjoyment is explained by some to be the result of karma. Others say it is due to nature, others due to time, others due to fate, and still others say that is due to desire. Purport. There are different types of philosophers, Mimamsaka, atheists, astronomers, sexualities, and so many other classifications of mental speculators. The real conclusion is that it is our work only that binds us within this material world in different varieties of life. How these varieties have sprung up is explained in the Vedas. It is due to the desire of the living entity. The living entity is not a dead stone. He has different varieties of desire or kama. The Vedas say kamoksharti karshit. The living entities are originally parts of the Lord, like sparks of a fire, but they have dropped to this material world, attracted by a desire to lord it over nature. This is a fact. Every living entity is trying to lord it over the material resources to the best of his ability. This karma or desire cannot be annihilated. There are some philosophers who say that if one gives up his desires, he again becomes liberated. But it is not at all possible to give up desire because desire is a symptom of the living entity. If there were no desire, then the living entity would be a dead stone. Sri Narottam Das Thakur therefore advises that one turn his desire to serve the Supreme Personality of Godhead, then desire becomes purified. And when one's desires are purified, he becomes liberated from all material contamination. The conclusion is that the different philosophers' theories to explain the varieties of life and their pleasure and pain are all imperfect. The real explanation is that we are eternal servants of God, and that as soon as we forget this relationship, we are thrown into the material world where we create our different activities and suffer or enjoy the result. We are drawn in the material world by desire, but the same desire must be purified and employed in the devotional service of the Lord. Then our disease of wandering in the universe under different forms and conditions will end. Text 23. Avyaktasya pare prame yasya nana shakti udayas cha na vai चिकीर्षितं ताता को वेदाथ eva sambhavam. Synonyms: avyaktasya, of the unmanifested, aprame apramasya, of the transcendence, nana, various, shakti, energies, udayasya, of he who gives rise to, cha, also, na, never, why, certainly, chikirshitam, the plan, tata, my dear boy, kaha, who, veda, can know, atha, therefore, swa, own, sambhavam, origin. Translation: the absolute truth, transcendence, is never subjected to the understanding of imperfect sense endeavor, nor is he subject to direct experience. He is the master of varieties of energies like the full material energy, and no one can understand his plans or actions. Therefore, it should be concluded that although he is the original cause of all causes, no one can know him by mental speculation. Purport: the question may be raised, since there are so many varieties of philosophers theorizing in different ways, which of them is correct? The answer is that the absolute truth, the transcendence, is never subject to direct experience or mental speculation. The mental speculator may be called Dr. Frog. The story is that a frog in a 3-foot well wanted to calculate the length and breadth of the Atlantic Ocean on the basis of his knowledge of his own well. But it was an impossible task for Dr. Frog. A person may be a great academician, scholar, or professor, but he cannot speculate and expect to understand the absolute truth because his senses are limited. The cause of all causes, the absolute truth, can be known from the absolute truth himself and not by our ascending process to reach him. When the sun is not visible at night or when it is covered by a cloud in the day, it is not possible to uncover it either by bodily or mental strength or by scientific instruments, although the sun is there in the sky. No one can say that he has discovered a torchlight so powerful that if one goes on a roof and focuses the torchlight on the night sky, the sun will then be seen. There is no such torchlight, nor is it possible. The word avyakta, unmanifested, in this verse indicates that the absolute truth cannot be manifested by any strain of so-called scientific advancement of knowledge. Transcendence is not the subject matter of direct experience. The absolute truth may be known in the same way as the sun covered by a cloud or covered by night. For then the sun rises in the morning in its own way, then everyone can see the sun, everyone can see the world, and everyone can see himself. This understanding of self-realization is called Atma Tattva. Unless, however, one comes to this point of understanding Atma Tattva, one remains in the darkness in which he was born. Under the circumstances, no one can understand the plan of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The Lord is equipped with varieties of energies, as stated in the Vedic literature. Parasya Shaktir Vividhaiva Shruyate. He is equipped with the energy of eternal time. He has not only the material energy which we see and experience, but he has also many reserve energies that he can manifest in due course of time when necessary. The material scientist can simply can simply study the partial understanding of the varieties of energies. He can take up one of the energies and try to understand it with limited knowledge, but still it is not possible to understand the absolute truth in full by dint of material science. No material scientist can foretell what is going to happen in the future. The Bhakti Yoga process is, however, completely different from so-called scientific advancement of knowledge. A devotee completely surrenders unto the Supreme and he reveals himself by his causeless mercy. As stated in the Bhagavad Gita, Dadami Buddhi Yogam Tam. The Lord says, I give him intelligence. What is that intelligence? Yenamam upayanti te. He gives him the intelligence to cross over the ocean of nescience and come back home, back to Godhead. In conclusion, the cause of all causes, the absolute truth or supreme Brahman, cannot be understood by philosophical speculation, but he reveals himself to his devotee because the devotee fully surrenders unto his lotus feet. Bhagavad Gita is therefore to be accepted as a revealed scripture spoken by the absolute truth himself when he descended to this planet. If any intelligent man wants to know what God is, he should study this transcendental literature under the guidance of a bona fide spiritual master. Then it is very easy to understand Krishna as he is. Next 24. Nachaiti putraka bhratur hantaro dhana danugaha visargada pumsa daivam hi karanam synonym. Na, never, cha, also, ete, all these, putraka, my dear son, bratu, of your brother, antaraha, killers, dhanada, of Kuvera, anugaha, followers, visarga, of birth, adana, yoho, of death, tata, my dear son, pumsaha, of a living entity, daivam, the supreme, he is certainly karanam, the cause. Translation: My dear son, those extras who are descendants of Kuvera are not actually the killers of your brother. The birth and death of every living entity is caused by the Supreme, who is certainly the cause of all this. Text 25. Sa eva vishvam srijati, sa evavati hanti cha अथापि ह्यनङ्कारान् नाज्यते गुणकर्मभिः. Synonyms: saha, he, eva, certainly. Vishwam, the universe. Srijati, creates. Saha, he, eva, certainly. Avati, maintains. Hanti, annihilates. Cha, also. Atapi, moreover. He, certainly. Anahankarat, from being without ego. Na, not. Ajyate, becomes entangled. Guna, by the modes of material nature. Karmabhihi, by activities. Translation: the Supreme Personality of Godhead creates this material world, maintains it, and annihilates it in due course of time. But because he is transcendental to such activities, he is never affected by ego in such action or by the modes of material nature. Purport: in this verse, the word anahankara means without ego. The conditioned soul has a false ego, and as a result of this karma, as a result of his karma, he gets different types of bodies in this material world. Sometimes he gets the body of a demigod, and he thinks that body to be his identity. Similarly, when he gets the body of a dog, he identifies himself with that body. But for the Supreme Personality of Godhead, there is no such distinction between the body and the soul. Bhagavad Gita therefore certifies that anyone who thinks of Krishna as an ordinary human being is without knowledge of his transcendental nature, and he is a great fool. The Lord says, Nama, Namam Karmani Limpanti. He is not affected by anything. He does because he is never contaminated with the modes of material nature. That we have a material body proves that we are infected by the material modes of nature. The Lord says to Arjuna, you and I had many births previously, but I remember everything, whereas you do not. That is the difference between the living entity or conditioned soul and the supreme soul. The super soul, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, has no material body, and because he has no material body, he is not affected by any work that he executes. There are many Mayavadi philosophers who consider that Krishna's body is the effect of a concentration of the material body, more material mode of goodness, and they distinguish Krishna's soul from Krishna's body. The real situation, however, is that the body of the conditioned soul, even if he has a large accumulation of material goodness, he is material, whereas Krishna's body is never material, it is transcendental. Krishna has no false ego, no, for he does not identify himself with the false and temporary body. His body is always eternal. He descends on this world in his own original spiritual body. This is explained in the Bhagavad Gita as Parambhavam. The words Parambhavam Divyam are especially significant in understanding Krishna's personality. Text 26. Esha bhutani bhutatma bhuteshu bhuta bhavanaha swasaktya mayaya yuktaha srijati atti cha pati cha. Synonyms: Yesha, this, Bhutani, all created beings, Bhota Atma, the super soul of all living entities, Bhota Isha, the controller of everyone, Bhota Bhavanaha, the maintainer of everything, the maintainer of everyone, Swa Shaktya, through his energy, Mayaya, the external energy, Yuktaha, through such agency, Srijati, creates, Atti, annihilates, cha, and pati, maintains, cha, and translation: the Supreme Personality of Godhead is the super soul of all living entities. He is the controller and maintainer of everything. Through the agency of his external energy, he creates, maintains, and annihilates everyone. Purport: there are two kinds of energies in the matter of creation. The Lord creates this material world through his external material energy, whereas the spiritual world is a manifestation of his internal energy. He is always associated with the internal energy, but he is always aloof from the material energy. Therefore, in the Bhagavad Gita, the Lord says, Mat Shanti Sarva Bhutani Na Chaham Teshva Vastitaha. All the living entities are living on me, or on my energy, but I am not everywhere. Bhagavad Gita 9:4. He is personally always situated in the spiritual world. In the material world also, wherever the Supreme Lord is personally present, is to be understood as the spiritual world. For example, the Lord is worshipped in the temple by pure devotees. The temple is therefore to be understood as a spiritual world. Text 27. तमेव मृत्युम अमृतं तात दैवम सर्वात्मनोपेहि जगत् पारायणम यस्मै बलिं विश्वसृजो हरन्ति गावो यथा वै नसीदाम Yantritaha, synonyms tam unto him, eva certainly, mrityum, death, amrutam, immortality, tata, my dear son, daivam, the supreme, sarva atma na, in all respects, upehi, surrender, jagat, of the world, parayanam, ultimate goal, yasmai, unto whom, balim, offerings, vishwasrijaha, all the demigods like Brahma, Haranti, bear, Gavaha, bulls, Yatha, as, why, without fail, Nasi, in the nose, Dama, by a rope, Yantritaha, controlled. Translation, my dear boy, Dhruva, please surrender unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is the ultimate goal of the progress of the world. Everyone, including the demigods headed by Lord Brahma, is working under his control, just as a bull promoted by a rope in its nose. Just as a bull prompted by a rope in its nose is controlled by its owner. Purport. The material disease is to declare independence from the supreme controller. Actually, our material existence begins when we forget the supreme controller and wish to lord it over material nature. Everyone in the material world is trying his best to become the supreme controller individually, nationally, socially, and in many other ways. Dhruva Maharaj was advised to stop fighting by his grandfather, who was concerned that Dhruva was adhering to a personal ambition to fight to annihilate the whole race of Rakshas. In this verse, therefore, Swayambhu Manu seeks to eradicate the last tinge of false ambition in Dhruva by explaining the position of the supreme controller. The words Mrityum Amritam, death and immortality, are significant. In the Bhagavad Gita, the Lord says, I am ultimate death, who takes away everything from the demons. The demons' business is to continually struggle for existence as lords over material nature. The demons repeatedly meet death after death and create a network of involvement in the material world. The Lord is death for the demons, and but for devotees he is Amrita, eternal life. Devotees who render continuous service to the Lord have already attained immortality, for whatever they are doing in this life, they will continue to do in the next. They will simply change their material bodies for spiritual bodies. Unlike the demons, they no longer have to change material bodies. The Lord, therefore, is simultaneously death and immortality. He is death for demons and immortality for, for devotees. He is the ultimate goal of everyone because he is the cause of all causes. Dhruva Maharaj was advised to surrender unto him in all respects without keeping any personal ambition. One may put forward the argument, why are the demigods worshipped? The answer is given here that demigods are worshipped by less intelligent men. The demigods themselves accept sacrifices for the ultimate satisfaction of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Text 28. यह पंचवर्षो जननीं त्वं विहाय मातुः सपत्न्या वचसा भिन्न मर्म वंशं गतस्तपसा प्रत्यग अक्षम आराध्य लेभे मूर्ध्नि पदम त्रिलोक्याः. Synonyms, yaha, one who, panchavarshah, 5 years old, janani, mother, tvam, you, vihaya, leaving aside, matu, of the mother, sa, patniya, of the co-wife, vachasa, by the words bhinna marma, aggrieved at heart, vanam, to the forest, gataha, went, tapasa, by austerity, pratyak, aksham, the Supreme Lord, Aradhya, worshipping, Lebhe, achieved, Mudhni, on the top, Padam, the position, Trilokya, of the three worlds. Translation. My dear Dhruva, at the age of only 5 years, you were very grievously afflicted by the words of your mother's co-wife, and you were boldly gave up the protection of your mother and went to the forest to engage in the yogic process for the realization of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. As a result of this, you have already achieved the topmost position in all the three worlds. Purport. Manu was very proud that Dhrumaraj was one of the descendants in his family, because at the age of only 5 years, Dhruva began meditating upon the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and within 6 months, he was able to see the Supreme Lord face to face. Factually, Dhruva Maharaj is the glory of the Manu dynasty or the human family. The human family begins from Manu. The Sanskrit word for man is Manushya, which means descendant of Manu. Dhruva Maharaj is not only the glory of the family of Swayambhu Manu, but he is the glory of the entire human society. Because Dhruva Maharaj had already surrendered to the Supreme Godhead, he was especially requested not to do anything unbefitting a surrendered soul. Text 29. Tamenam angatmani mukta vigrahe व्यपाश्रितं निर्गुणम् एकम् अक्षरम् आत्मानम् अनिविच्छ विमुखतम् आत्मदृग् यस्मिन् इदं भेदम् असत् प्रतीयते. Synonyms: tam, him, enam, that, anga, my dear Dhruva, atmani, in the mind, mukta vigrahe, free from anger, vyapashritam, situated, nirgunam, transcendental, ekam, one, aksharam, the infallible Brahman, atmanam, the self, anvicha, try to find out, vimuktam, uncontaminated, atmadhik, facing toward the super soul, yasmin, in which, idam, this, bhedam, differentiation, asat, unreal, pratiyate, appears to be. Translation: My dear Dhruva, please therefore turn your attention to the Supreme Person, who is the infallible Brahman. Face the Supreme Personality of Godhead in your original position, and thus by self realization, you will find this material differentiation to be merely flickering. Purport: The living entities have three kinds of vision according to their positions in self-realization. According to the bodily conception of life, one sees differentiation in terms of varieties of body. The living entity actually passes through many varieties of material forms, but despite all such changes of body, he is eternal. When living entities therefore are viewed in the bodily conception of life, one appears to be different from another. Lord Manu wanted to change the vision of Dhruva Maharaj, who was looking upon the Akshas as different from him, or as his enemies. Actually, no one is an enemy or a friend. Everyone is passing through different types of bodies under the law of karma, but as soon as one is situated in his spiritual identity, he does not see differentiation in terms of this law. In other words, as stated in the Bhagavad Gita, Brahma Bhutah Prasannatma na sochiti na kankshati samasarveshu bhuteshu madbhaktim labate param. Bhagavad Gita 18:54. A devotee who is already liberated does not see differentiation in terms of the outward body. He sees all living entities as spiritual souls, eternal servants of the Lord. Dhruva Maharaj was advised by Lord Manu to see with that vision. He was specifically advised to do so because he was a great devotee and the and should not have looked upon other living entities with ordinary vision. Indirectly, Manu pointed out to Dhrumaraj that out of material affection, Dhruva thought of his brother as his kin and the Yakshas as his enemies. Such observation of differentiation subsides as soon as one is situated in his original position as an eternal servant of the Lord. Text 30. त्वं प्रत्यग आत्मनि तदा भगवती अनंत आनंदमात्रम् उपपन्न संस्त शक्तौ भक्तिं विधाय परमां शनकैर अविद्या ग्रंथिं विभेत्स्यन्ति विभेष्यसि ममाहम इति prarudham. Synonyms: tvam, you, pratyekatmani, unto the super soul, tada, at that time, bhagavati, unto the supreme personality of Godhead, anante, who is unlimited, ananda matre, reservoir of all pleasure, upapanna, possessed of samasta, all, shaktav, potencies, bhaktim, devotional service, vidyaya, by rendering paramam, supreme, shanakaihi, very soon, avidya, of illusion, grantim, the knot, vibhetsyasi, you will undo, mama, my, aham, I, iti, thus, prarudham, firmly fixed. Translation: thus regaining your natural position and rendering service unto the Supreme Lord, who is the all-powerful reservoir of all pleasure and who lives in all living entities as a super soul, you will very soon forget the illusory understanding of I and my. Purport: Dhrumaraj was already a liberated person because at the age of 5 years he had seen the Supreme Personality of Godhead. But even though liberated, he was for the time being afflicted by the illusion of Maya, thinking himself as the brother of Uttama in the bodily conception of life. The whole material world is working on the basis of I and mine. This is the root of attraction to the material world. If one is attracted by this root of illusory conceptions, I and mine, he will have to remain within this material world in different exalted or nasty positions. By the grace of Lord Krishna, the sages and Lord Manu reminded Dhrumaraj that he should not continue his material conception of my I and mine. Simply by devotion service unto the Lord, his illusion could be eradicated without difficulty.
Oh, Haribol. Let's finish this chapter.
Five more to go.
Yes, bro.
Yeah, text 31. Samyaccha rosham bhadram te प्रतीपम श्रेयसां परम श्रुतेन भूयसा राज्ञ अगदेन यथामयम्. Synonyms: samyacha, by just control, rosham, anger, bhadram, all good fortune, te, to you, pratipam, enemy, shreyasam, of all goodness, param, the foremost, srutena, by hearing, bhuyasa, constantly, Rajan, my dear king, agadena, by medicinal treatment, yatha, as, amayam, this is. Translation: my dear king, just consider what I have said to you, which will act as medicinal treatment upon disease. Control your anger, for anger is the foremost enemy on the path of spiritual realization. I wished all good fortune for you. Please follow my instructions. Purport: Dhrumaraj was a liberated soul, and actually he was not angry with anyone, but because he was the ruler, it was his duty to become angry for some time in order to keep law and order in the state. His brother Uttama was without fault, yet he was killed by one of the extras. It was the duty of Drona Maharaj to kill the offender life for life because he was the king. When the challenge came, Drona Maharaj fought vehemently and punished the extras sufficiently. But anger is such that if one increases it, it increases unlimitedly. In order that Drona Maharaj's kingly anger not to succeed the limit, not exceed the limit, Manu was kind enough to check his grandson. Dhruva Maharaj could understand the purpose of his grandfather, and he immediately stopped the fighting. The words Srutena Bhuyasa, by constantly hearing, are very important in this verse. By constantly hearing about devotional service, one can check the force of anger, which is detrimental to the process of devotional service. Srila Parikshit Maharaj said that the constant hearing of the pastimes of the Lord is the panacea for all material diseases. How to pronounce this? Panacea? Okay, panacea for all
It is
material
Panacea,
diseases.
Prabhu.
Panacea, yeah. For all material diseases. Everyone, therefore, should hear about the Supreme Personality of Godhead constantly. By hearing, one can always remain in equilibrium, and thus his progress in spiritual life will not be hampered. Dhruva Maharaj's becoming angry with the miscreants was quite appropriate. There is a short story in this connection about a snake who became a devotee upon instruction by Narada, who instructed him not to bite any more. Since ordinarily a snake's business is to fatally bite other living entities. As a devotee, he was forbidden to do so. Unfortunately, people took advantage of this non-violence on the part of the snake, especially the children who began to throw stones at him. He did not bite anyone, however, because it was the instruction of his spiritual master. After a while, when the snake met his spiritual master Narada, he complained, I have given up the bad habit of biting innocent living entities, but they are mistreating me by throwing stones at me. Upon hearing this, Narada Muni instructed him, don't bite, but do not forget to expand your hoods as if you were going to bite. Then they will go away. Similarly, a devotee is always non-violent. He is qualified with all good characteristics, but in the common world, when there is mischief made by others, he should not forget to become angry, at least for the time being, in order to drive away the miscreants. Next 32. Yenopasristat purushal loka vidvijate भृशम न बुद्धस्तद वशम गच्छेद इच्छन् अभ्यय अभ्ययम अभयम आत्मनः synonyms ena by which upashrishtat being overwhelmed purushat or purushat by the person lokaha everyone udvijate becomes terrified brisham greatly na never buddha a learned person tat of anger vasham under the control gachet should go icchan desiring abhayam fearlessness liberation atmanaha of the self. Translation: a person who desires liberation from this material world should not fall under the control of anger, because when bewildered by anger, one becomes a source of dread for all others. Purport: a devotee or saintly person should not be dreadful to others, nor should anyone be a source of dread to him. If one treats others with non-enmity, then no one will become his enemy. This is the example, however, of Jesus Christ, who had enemies and they crucified him. The demonic are always present and they find fault even in saintly person. But a saintly person never becomes angry even if there is very great provocation. Text 33. Helanam Girisha Bratur Dhanadasya Tvaya Kritam jahnivan punya janan भ्रातृ ज्ञान इति अमर्षितः synonyms helanam disrespectful behavior Girisha of Lord Shiva Bratuhu the brother Dhanadasya took Vera Tvaya by you Kritam was performed yet because Jagnivan you have killed Punya Janan the Yakshas Bratr of your brother Gnan killers iti thus thinking Amarshitah angry. Translation. My dear Dhruva, you thought that the Yakshas killed your brother, and therefore you have killed great numbers of them. But by this action, you have agitated the mind of Lord Shiva's brother Kuvera, who is the treasurer of the demigods. Please note that your actions have been very disrespectful to Kuvera and Lord Shiva. Purport. Lord Manu stated that Droma Raj had been offensive to Lord Shiva and his brother Kuvera because the Yakshas belonged to Kuvera's family. They were not ordinary persons. As such, they have been described as Punyajana, pious men. However, or somehow or other, the mind of Kuvera had been agitated and Dhrumaharaj was advised to pacify him. Text 34. Tam prasadaya vatsasu sannatya prashrayoktibihi na yavan mahatam tejah kulam nobhi Bhavishyati, synonyms tam, him, prasad, daya, pacify, vatsa, my son, ashu, immediately, sannatya, by offering obeisances, prashraya, by respectful behavior, uktibihi, by gentle words, na yavat, before, mahatam, of great personalities, tejaha, wrath, kulam, family, naha, our, abhibhavishyati will affect. Translation. For this reason, my son, you should immediately pacify Kuvera with gentle words and prayers, and thus his wrath may not affect our family. Purport. In our common dealings, we should maintain friendship with everyone and certainly with such exalted demigods as Kuvera. Our behavior should be such that no one should become angry and therefore commit a wrong to individuals, families, or society. Text 35. Evam Text 35. एवं स्वायंभुवः पौत्रम् अनुशास्य मनुर्ध्रुवम् तेनाभिवन्दिताः शाकम् ऋषिभिः स्वपुरं ययौ. Synonyms. Evam, thus Swayambhuvaha, Lord Swayambhuva Manu, Pautram, to his grandson Anushasya, after giving instruction, Manuhu, Lord Manu, Dhruvam, to Dhruva Maharaj, Tena, by him, Abhivanditaha, being offered obeisances to Shakam, together Rishibihi with the sages, Swapuram, to his own abode. Yoyo went. Translation. Thus, Swayambhumanu, after giving instruction to Dhrumaraj, his grandson, received respectful obeisances from him. Then Lord Manu and the great sages went back to their respective homes. Thus end the Bhaktivedanta purports of the fourth canto, 11th chapter of the Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, entitled Swayambhumanu advises Dhrumaraj to stop fighting.
Haribol. Ki jai. Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam ki jai. Thank you so much.
Jai.
Go.
What is next? Dhrumaraj goes back to Godhead. Okay.
Prabhu, if you can just take a look at text 32 and text 31, the purports are a little contradictory. Just give me what you think about that. Because text 31 states, the purport states that you have to be a little defensive when people are lashing out at you. That snake example, where you get the flare the hood out. And text 32 says that you have to be calm. So I see it as a contradiction. Just tell me what you guys think about it.
This is text 31. Come down, Prabhu.
The last line of the purport
Yes, snake.
of both
Example of
the
a snake
verses.
given. Okay. Come down, Prabhu. 31.
Lower, Prabhu. No, more down. Keep going back. The last line.
Yes. But in the
Yeah.
common world, when there is mischief made by others, he should not forget to become angry, at least for the time being, in order to drive away the miscreants. Okay. A devotee or saintly person should not be dreadful to others, nor should anyone be source of dread to anyone. One second. If one treats others with non-enmity, then no one will become his enemy. This is the example.
Because
However, of Jesus.
I
Go
believe
ahead,
it's dangerous to become angry in any case, so it's better to be calm. So, but there's still a hint given that, I mean, a clear indication given that we can become defensive. So, how do I go about that?
No, in fact, see, as a matter of duty, by a Kshatriya, he should punish all the miscreants, okay, who are the source of all the sufferings or problems in the society, okay. But he should not have any personal vengeance to kill anyone. But in the second one, as a devotee, he should always respect others. There is no question of fighting in the case of a duty. But even though Dhromaras was a devotee of the Lord, he was additionally a king as well, and he should punish the miscreants as well. That is his main principal duty.
Yes, Prabhu. Oh, Sridhar Prabhu is still there. Enemy and angry is different. Prabhu. Okay, I
Yes,
didn't see the
Prabhu.
enemy and
He
angry
should
part.
not
Okay.
punish anyone out of anger, but he should punish everyone out of his duty.
Yes,
Yes.
Prabhu, got it.
So
So we
we always
technically have to
associate,
be calm.
yes, Prabhu. It is like our tendency to associate anger with enemies. So I think that is where we are interpreting it like that. But
Yes.
if we can enforce our friendliness to everyone, but only like maybe, let's say somebody is offending our spiritual master, or if it's going against the principles, it is okay to walk away, or it is okay to like talk back, defending with the scriptures, but don't have to like prolong the talk also. But at the same time, like for example, if you are an association of people who are eating meat or anything, then clearly you don't want to be there. So you can always like walk away, or you can just tell them to eat somewhere else. So of course it is told with the sense of anger because it is affecting your devotional service, but it doesn't mean you're meaning harm to them. So they are still your friends. You still want to wish well for them, but you don't want at the same time it to affect your own sadhana and devotional service.
Yes, Prabhu, understood. Thank you, Prabhu. Sami bro, shall I sing the entire Shikshashtakam?
Yes, Prabhu, you can do.
All right. चेतोदर्पणमार्जनं भवमहादावाग्निर्वापनं श्रेयकैरवचन्द्रिका वितरणं विद्यावधू जीवनम् आनन्दबुद्धिवर्धनं प्रतिपदं पूर्णामृतस्वादनं सर्वात्मस्नपनं परं विजयते श्रीकृष्णसङ्कीर्तनं नामकारि बहुधा निजसर्वशक्तिः तत्रापिता नियमिता स्मरणेन कालः एतादृशी तव कृपा भगवन् ममापि दुर्दैवमीदृशम् इह जानिनानुरागः तृणादपि सुनीचेन तरोरपि सहिष्णुना अमानीना मानदेन कीर्तनीय सदा हरिः न धनं न जनं न सुन्दरं कवितां जगदीश कामये मम जन्मनि जन्मनेश्वरि भवतात् भक्तरहेतुकी त्वयि अयि नन्दतनुज किङ्करं पतिता मां विषमे भवाम्बुधौ कृपया तव पादपङ्कजं सितदूरसुदर्शविचिन्तय नयनं गलदसुधारया वदनं गद्गदहृदया गिरा पुलकेन च तव वपुः तव नाम ग्रहेण भविष्यति युगायितं निमेषेण चक्षुषा प्रावृषायितं शून्यायितं जगत्सर्वं गोविन्दभिहरणेन मे आश्लिष्य वा पादरतां पिनष्टु माम् अदर्शनान् मर्महतां करोतु वा यथा तथा विदधातु लम्पटो मत्प्राणसुनैव नापरः.
Glory to the
Glory
Sri
to
Krishna
the...
Sankirtana. Yes, Prabhu, please read.
No, go on, please.
Thank you. Glory to the Sri Krishna Sankirtana, which cleanses the heart of all the dust accumulated for years and extinguishes the fire of conditioned life for rebuilt birth and death. This Sankirtana movement is a prime benediction for humanity at large because it splits the rays of the benediction moon. It is the life of all transcendental knowledge. It increases the ocean of transcendental bliss, and it enables us to fully taste nectar for which you are always anxious.
O my Lord, your holy name alone can render all benediction to living beings, and thus you have hundreds and millions of names like Krishna and Govinda. In these transcendental names, you have invested all your transcendental energies. There are not even hard and fast rules for chanting these names. O my Lord, out of out of kindness, you enable us to easily approach you by your holy names, but I'm so unfortunate that I have no attraction for them.
One should chant the holy name of the Lord in a humble state of mind, thinking oneself over the straw on the street. One should be more tolerant than a tree, devoid of all sense of false prestige, and ready to offer all respect to others. In such a state of mind, one can chant the holy name of the Lord constantly. O Almighty Lord, I have no desire to accumulate wealth, nor do I desire beautiful women, nor do I want any number of followers. I only want your costless devotional service, birth after birth. O son of Maharaj Nanda Krishna, I am an eternal servitor. At some or other, I have followed this motion of birth and death. Please pick me up from this ocean of death and place me as one of the atoms of your lotus feet. O my Lord, when will my eyes be decorated with tears of love flowing constantly when I chant your holy name? When will my voice choke up and when will the hairs of my body stand on any other expression of your name? Govinda, feeling the separation and considering a moment to be literally or some more tears are flowing from my eyes like torrents of rain and I'm feeling all become the one in their absence. I know no one but Krishna as or he shall remain so even if he handles me roughly in his embrace or makes me broken hearted by not being distant for me. He is completely free to anything and everything for this all is to worship to Lord unconditionally. शिक्षा की जाए मतलब बाहर की जाए
Jai.
और प्रेम हरि बोल
Haribo.
बहुजन्म करे यदि श्रवण कीर्तन तब तना पाए कृष्ण प्रदे प्रेमतन. If one is interested with the inner conscious understanding of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, despite his endeavor to chant the holy name for many births, he will not get the love of Godhead. That is the ultimate goal of this chanting. The offenses against the chanting of the holy name are as follows. First offense, to blaspheme the devotees who have dedicated their lives for propagating the holy name of the Lord. Second offense, to consider the names of demigods like Lord Shiva or Lord Brahma to be equal to or independent of the name of Lord Vishnu.
Third offense is to disobey the orders of the spiritual master and to consider him as an ordinary person.
Fourth offense, to blaspheme the Vedic literature or literature in pursuance of the Vedic worship.
Fifth offense is to consider the place of chanting Hare Krishna to be an imagination.
Sixth offense, to give some interpretation on the holy name of the Lord.
Seventh offense is to commit sinful activity. Seventh offense is to commit sinful activities on the strength of the holy name of the Lord.
Eighth offense, to consider the chanting of Hare Krishna as one of the auspicious ritualistic activities offered in the Vedas as fruitive activities, karma kanda.
Ninth offense is to instruct a faithless person about the glories of the holy name.
Tenth offense, to not have complete faith in the chanting of the holy name and to maintain material actions even after understanding so many instructions on this matter. It is also an offense to do inattentive while chanting. Every devotee who claims to be Vaishnava must guard against his offenses in order to quickly achieve the desired success, Krishna Prem. By respecting the obeisances unto all the Vaishnava devotees of the Lord, they can fulfill the desires of everyone and fulfill
Vasya kalpatarubhyasya kripa sindhubhaiva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavibhyo namo namaः. Ananta koti vaishnava ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Nitya Gaura Premanande, Hari Hari Bol.
Thank you so much, Prabhu. That's a very nice reading session.
Very nice session, Prabhu. Thank you for organizing. So